The night I called my wife and heard another man's laughter in the background, something inside me didn't explode. It went completely still. It wasn't anger, nor heartbreak. It was the kind of quiet that settles in when the mind stops arguing with what the heart already knows. Her name was Emily. We'd been married for 5 years, long enough to build a life, yet short enough to keep pretending it was still whole. Lately, she'd been drifting away. Late nights at the office, her phone always face down, a hollow sort of laughter that never reached her eyes. I told myself it was just stress, work, fatigue, maybe burnout. But that night, the truth answered before she did. It was a Friday evening. I'd stayed behind at the shop fixing a delivery issue. I missed her, so I called, nothing dramatic, just a husband checking in. When she picked up, her tone was soft but distracted. "Hey, I'm out with friends. Can I call you later?" Then I heard it, a man's laugh, low and familiar, the kind of laugh that doesn't belong to strangers. "Who's that?" I asked quietly. Silence. A faint rustle, a quick breath. "Just someone from work," she said too fast. "Don't start." "I wasn't planning to," I replied. My voice didn't even tremble. I simply listened as the silence between us grew heavier than any lie she'd ever spoken. She ended the call a moment later, saying she'd ring me back. She didn't. That night, I sat alone at the kitchen table, phone still in my hand, while the clock ticked like a metronome for my thoughts. I replayed every little sign I'd ignored, the secretive smiles at her phone, the nights she turned away when I reached for her. Love rarely dies in one blow. It fades slowly, like twilight losing its color. I just hadn't noticed how dark it had already become. When she came home, I didn't question her. She kissed my cheek, faintly smelling of cologne that wasn't mine, and went straight to the shower. I watched her go, realizing she'd been living 2 lives while I was still clinging to one. The next morning, Emily moved through the kitchen as if nothing had happened, humming, scrolling through her phone, smiling at something she didn't want me to see. That's when I realized she wasn't sorry. She was comfortable. Too comfortable. "Late night?" I asked, leaning on the counter. She looked up, startled, then shrugged. "Just drinks after work. You know how it is." "Yeah," I said evenly. I heard. Her hands paused midair, coffee mug hovering. For a split second, her composure cracked. Then she forced a laugh, brittle and unconvincing. "He's just a friend, Jake. You're overthinking again." Overthinking. That word stung like poison. The favorite defense of the guilty. I didn't respond. I just nodded, kissed her forehead, and left for work. Only I didn't go to the shop. I drove to her office and parked across the street. Hours passed. Then, around lunch, she came out not alone. It was the same man I'd seen in her photos, the one she always claimed was a coworker. They walked side by side, their hands brushing, laughter too close to be innocent. I gripped the steering wheel, staring through the windshield at the woman I thought I knew. By evening, I'd made my decision. Not revenge. Not confrontation. Just truth. Truth doesn't have to shout. It only needs to stand still long enough to be seen. When I got home, she was already there. Her hair was damp from the shower, wearing one of my shirts, acting as though nothing had ever changed. "Hey," she greeted with a smile. "You're home early?" "Yeah," I said calmly. "We need to talk." Her smile faltered. "About what?" "About how it feels to laugh beside another man while your husband's voice plays through the phone." The color drained from her face. She tried to speak, but no words came. For the first time in months, the silence belonged to me. "I called you last night," I continued. "He sounded happy. You did too." Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't believe them. There's a difference between tears of regret and tears of exposure. "It's not what you think," she whispered. I almost smiled. "Emily, it's exactly what I think." That night, she lay on the far edge of the bed, restless and silent. I stared at the ceiling, feeling the distance between us stretch wider than the space we occupied. There was nothing left to argue over. Only a truth we both already knew. At dawn, I dressed quietly, packed a small bag, and walked out. No note. No message. Just the sound of the engine starting and the emptiness behind me. Pain, when it burns long enough, eventually turns cold. By noon, I found myself parked outside the same restaurant I'd seen her enter the day before. I waited. And right on time, she arrived, same dress, same perfume, same smile that once belonged to me. The man met her at the door, whispering something that made her laugh again. That same laugh that had shattered everything. Only this time, she didn't know I was watching. I stepped out of the car and walked toward them. The sound of my footsteps made her turn. Her smile vanished instantly. "Jake," she breathed. "What are you doing here?" "Just watching," I said quietly. "You're right, I overthink. Thought I'd see for myself." The man shifted uneasily, muttered something, and stepped aside. Emily's hands trembled. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered, her voice shaking now. "It's exactly what it looks like," I said. "The only difference is, this time, you don't get to lie about it." No shouting. No scene. Just calm finality. I handed her the house keys. "You can stay with him now." And I walked away. The next day, she came to the shop. Makeup smeared, eyes red, laughter gone. "Jake, please," she begged. "It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to go this far." I looked at her, really looked, and felt nothing but release. The kind of relief that comes when you finally stop clinging to someone who let go long before you did. "You should have thought about that yesterday," I said softly. "When you left." She broke down right there on the shop floor, but I didn't stay. Because sometimes the cruelest revenge isn't fury, it's indifference. And that day, nobody was laughing.